the Steam Machine is finally here. We're on Steam. We're gonna click this right here. Your games on the big screen, powerful PC gaming made easy in a small and mighty package. So those of you guys who don't know what the Steam Machine is, Steam announced a few months back their new line of products that they're working on for the coming year very soon. And the Steam Machine is basically going to be like a mini PC that runs SteamOS, very much like the Steam Deck that you can plug in. And I just saw it right here. It starts at $1,049 without a controller. Then 512 with a controller is $1,128. The 2 terabyte version is $1,349. This also comes with extra faceplates for red fabric and solid walnut. And then this was the version with a controller for $1,428. Oh man, that is rough. $1,049 for the base model, man. Look, you can get the 512 gigabyte console, or it's not really a console. Actually, I'll take it a step further. A lot of people thought this was gonna be a console competitor. I think even I mentioned it at some point. That's kind of what they're trying to like move into. But this is not a console, it's too expensive. You're pricing yourself out of the console market. So it's not really a console competitor. It's not really a PC. It's kind of like its own thing. Honestly, just seeing it at this price point, do you guys think this is absolutely dead on arrival at this price? I think it's very complicated. $1,049 without a controller. I'm sure you can play with a PS5 or an Xbox controller or something like that. But like, I think most people expected the price of the Steam Machine to be somewhere around a PS5 Pro, which currently for a 2 terabyte PS5 Pro, it's $899. I think if the 512 gigabyte version was this much, it would be a little bit easier to swallow. But $1,049, that is a steep price. Like, this is almost like an enthusiast product. It's somebody who wants to play their games that are on Steam on their big TV in the living room with a controller. Now, what other ports are there? Like, it looks like you have 2 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port, which is not going to be enough. Like, if you want to have it be like a living room PC replacement, you're going to need more ports. But what are the other ports? Small form factor, cool and quiet, I/O for days, ready for all the peripherals and monitors you can throw at it. 1 gigabit Ethernet. I think 1 gigabit Ethernet is not good enough. The reason why I say it's not good enough is not because a lot of people have better internet than that. I think it's not good enough because I think they should future-proof it, and I think it should have been 2.5. I think it should have been 2.5 because that's kind of becoming the standard for a lot of like newer motherboards over the course of the last several years. More and more motherboards are doing 2.5 gigabits. Even then, you might want to do like data transfer beyond on LAN, beyond gigabit data transfer. So I think that 1 gigabit is kind of low. It's HDMI 2.0, 1 USB-C and 4 USB-A ports. They say there's I/O for days, but this is not it. I mean, everything is like old. I think DisplayPort 1.4 currently goes up to 2.1. The HDMI is low. HDMI 2.1 is needed for 120 FPS and VRR. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like CPU and GPU, 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR thanks to discrete semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU. I mean, maybe for what it is, they've made a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3. So the ROG Xbox Ally X, which is a handheld, uses a Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor. What is the GPU that it uses? Okay, so this is what the RDNA 3.5 that came out last year. So if we look at the AMD RDNA 328 CUS versus the RDNA 3.5, it's a mobile laptop GPUs, whatever. Comparing these two, it depends on whether you're looking at raw dedicated graphics, muscle and performance, or maximum power. The 28 CUR has a higher overall thermal envelope and dedicated VRAM, making it a brute force gaming solution, while the RDNA 3.5 architecture is much smarter with its power despite having fewer compute units. So it almost looks like a 1A, 1B situation. So they're comparable. But this is gonna be more like raw power than the other one. I mean, the bottom line is like for what you're getting, again, that's a handheld. Okay, that's a handheld, the Xbox ROG Ally X. I feel like really what happened here with the Steam Machine is it's just kind of dated for what you're getting. Now, it does what it does just fine. Bluetooth 5.3. Isn't Bluetooth highest level of Bluetooth right now? Isn't it like 6? No, it's 6.2. Now, is that gonna matter that much? No, but like the current Steam machine, like the launch Steam machine is not really future-proofed. I will say this is nice. Both come with an expandable storage via micro SD. So you can add a micro SD card and you can expand the storage. So with that being said, so because the storage is expandable, it might be wise to get a 512 and then just get your own storage as needed, or just like delete games as needed. And also, yeah, that's true. Not having a Wi-Fi 7, this Steam machine would have been great if it came out like 2 years ago. But the launch Steam machine is kind of disappointing. And it's a PC. Steam machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still your PC. You can install your own apps or even another operating system. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer? So this is gonna have SteamOS, but you could also install like Windows on it. And SteamOS is a Linux operating system. Is this dead on arrival? Oh, that is a hefty claim, and I hope I'm wrong, but right now it looks like it is, man. Because I don't know what the incentive is to get this over another PC. The only incentive is if you want a small form factor option to put in your living room, and that's pretty much it. It's for the enthusiast. This isn't something that's going to be like a household item for a lot of gamers. Is this something that I would buy? Personally, I'm in that target audience where I'm an enthusiast gamer who am I in this target audience? Yes, but I don't think there's a lot of people that are there. But this thing's on a lifeline, in my opinion. You're gonna have like a rush of sales at the beginning, like you always will, from people like me, but I think the target audience for this is very low. I actually think the concept of the Steam machine is very appealing. It's very intriguing. A lot of people were kind of hype about it. Everybody was excited to hear more. But now whenever you kind of get everything laid out, it's just a little bit underwhelming. I think the hardware is just not good enough, bottom line. And what you end up paying for is you end up paying more for like the convenience. I think the biggest problem with the Steam machine right now, after what they've announced, you're paying more for the idea of what the Steam machine is than you are for like the pure performance, than you are for the actual product itself. What you're paying for is a small form factor PC with SteamOS on it that might have some optimizations for the specific hardware that is proprietary to what the Steam machine is. It's kind of overpriced. This was like $100 less, then the conversation's a lot easier to have. If it was around PS5 Pro cost, maybe even a little bit more than PS5 Pro cost, but the fact that the base model is 1.5 terabytes less space and it's $150 more, it's just too much. The fact that there's 4 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port is just, I wouldn't put this in the category of a PC. I know they're trying to market it like that. They're trying to market it like, they're like, I/O for days. Not really, everything is a little bit low. Bluetooth 5.3 instead of, currently the highest level standard of Bluetooth is 6.2. There's also this option. Let's see what this is. A saving grace. If you don't get lucky with Valve's Steam machine reservation system, you can actually make your own Steam machine instead. Valve says that starting with the SteamOS 3.8 release, you can put together your own Steam machine using whatever PC parts you want. SteamOS 3.8.10 launched last week with a slew of updates, including improved compatibility with recent Intel and AMD platforms. Alongside that improved compatibility, Valve is giving gamers the green light to install SteamOS on their own desktop. In an interview with The Verge, Valve's Pierre-Luc Griffard said Valve has been rolling out improvements to SteamOS so it's more compatible with desktop hardware, including eventual support for NVIDIA graphics. He emphasized that it's certainly something that we're working on in the background. I may have just gotten an idea for another video. What if I build my own Steam machine? We might be building our own Steam machine.